Hey guys, welcome to another version of having good guests on here with bsprllc.com. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We got a special guest today with some more fishing stuff we want to talk to you about. And Andy Claiborne and his company make some unique products. And we're hoping he's going to enlighten us with a lot of it, enlighten you, so that way you will give us a call to make sure we can get these products into your stores and into your distribution channels. So Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, what you do, what you have, and all that, and how you get started.
Yeah, my name's Andy Claiborne, and I'm the founder and owner of Fish Daddy Outdoors, and we specialize in LED equipped tackle, but we don't stop right there. We do have several products without LEDs in as well. So when I was growing up as a kid, I was fortunate enough to live next to 3 small lakes, but one issue I had was that we did not have anyone to teach us how to fish. So we kind of had to learn on our own how to fish. And so over the years, I had friends who taught me how to tie a fishing knot, and I had other people who taught me different things here and there. And now I've become a fairly qualified angler thanks to the help of people helping me. So when I started a fishing tackle company in 2017, I was thinking, what is one term that we can come up with someone who's going to teach us about how to fish? And I came up with Fish Daddy. So Fish Daddy is just a simple term of endearment of anyone who's willing to share their love of the sport with another.
So Andy, got a quick question for you. So you're saying that you have these lures that have LEDs on them, some that don't. What's the advantage of having the LEDs on the lures themselves?
So fish rely on scent, vibration, sight, and sound primarily. And what the flashing light will do is it expands basically your bite zone, because the fish will see the light and they move into the area to see what is out there. Now there's 2 different types of lights. There's some that blink, which you can see our display behind me here. That's just a display. That's not an actual LED that we use. But
don't bite them.
The constant, yeah, the constant on LEDs here. Those what we have found. This actually more attracts bait fish, and so when the bait fish sees that, the bait fish come in, and then the large fish will come in. Versus the LEDs that flash, we have noticed that the fish will come in out of curiosity. And the only thing that we've really come up to, and this is just our experience, is, as a kid, when you're throwing out a daredevil during the middle of the day, one side of it just kind of flashes a little bit and catches the fish's attention. It's similar to that, but we're just doing it artificially. So now you can use that same experience as the spoons you've been using your whole lifetime, now in 30 feet of water where it might be dark, right? Or deeper. If your ocean fishing is going to be deeper, they might be 200 feet.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
So what was the process for you coming up with the lures themselves? I mean, they look really cool, especially I love the display back there with the flashing lights on there. So What was the process like for you, especially given your background and the name Fish Daddy and you teaching yourself how to fish? What was the process of going from designing a lure that's good for you?
The process started was about 12 years ago. I was out on a local lake called Lake Minnetonka here with a buddy of mine, and the fish weren't really biting that much. And I thought maybe we should try something to lure them in. And we're anchored up 5 feet of water where at night the fish traditionally have come in. So I knew it was a good spot, but why are we not getting bit? So what I did is I took the battery out of my tackle box, which is similar to the one I'm going to show you here. A battery with an LED on it, just like this, which you might be familiar with bobber lights.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I turned it on, and then I actually tied it on to the top of the bottom bouncer.
Huh. That's super cool.
What was interesting is you saw the bait fish start to swirl around, and then so all we would see is the shadows from the light because it started getting darker and darker. And then shortly after we saw the bait fish coming in, we started getting hit by crappies, walleyes, bass, multi-species. And my buddy got all excited. He's like, "You should bring this concept to market." I'm like, "Sweet, how much money are you going to put into it?" He's but he liked the concept. I liked the concept, and I sat on it, and I actually fished with different variations. But the problem is these LEDs, even though they say they're waterproof, they really aren't. They're more water resistant. So when you have that submerged in the water for long periods of time, you'll get that kind of corrosion on the white. I don't know if you've seen those before. So I realized we needed a plastic housing, and that's when I came up with this one.
Oh, look at that.
And so we insert the light into the plastic housing, making it waterproof. And that's where the company started. So the fun part is I brought it to a local distributor here, and they're like, "I get it. I get the concept. We love it. Let's move forward." And then they ask, what could you do to make it smaller and make it more like a spoon, maybe for ice fishing or open water fishing? And that's when I designed the first product called the Dirty Bomb. This was our first lure that we started off with. And I'll show you one in action here. What's cool about the Dirty Bomb, I have some set up here. What's cool about the Dirty Bomb is it's water activated. So once it's in water, it turns on. Once it's out, it turns
off.
That's nice.
That's super cool right there. How does that work exactly? There's a sensor on there, or?
There's two prongs on the back. I'll set this down and I can show you a little easier. There's two prongs on the back. You probably can't see that, but
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Once you get it wet,
look at that
circuit. And what's nice about that is the angler doesn't have to worry about turning on or off manually. And once it touches the water, it's super easy for the angler. The drawback to that is that the battery's encased in the epoxy, and that's what makes it waterproof. So we sold a lot of them, and we still do sell a lot of them. But the anglers were asking, "Hey, so how do we make this so we can replace the batteries?" And so I knew that first battery you saw on our bouncer flare, the bottom bouncer with that was going to be too big for how small we wanted to get a lure. So I had to come up with a whole new LED, and that's when we came up with what's called the micro LED.
Oh yeah.
See how small that is?
Small.
And so I'll show you one right here inside the spoon. So that's what's inside the spoon right here, and it's blinking.
Oh,
blue.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what's cool about the micro LED is that you can turn it on and off, and it's replaceable. That was the biggest concern that we were getting asked from our customers. So then I thought, that's cool that we could have a replaceable insert. What else could we do with that? So we came up with, remember how earlier fish rely on sight? So those are glow sticks, so it's a little softer version.
Oh yeah.
You can insert the glow sticks into the micro LED. And the one thing that drove me crazy is that I didn't have something for sound. And so you probably can't see those, but those are just little glass rattles.
Oh, cool.
So you can insert those into the micro LED spoon. And the concept is, if you can fish multiple lines where you're at, is one line you have an LED and one is a rattle.
You know, on the cell phones, the things that make the cell phones vibrate, these little tiny motors about that big.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Are you guys working on something like that where you take those little tiny motors and make them vibrate?
We're not, but I like the idea. I like the concept. And I'm crazy.
Take it.
I've had some people give me some good ideas, and I've actually brought them to market with their ideas. And so that's part of what, in my opinion, a good company is. They're going to listen to what their customers say and try to solve the problem. And that's what we did with the micro LED spoon.
So does all
it's
your
very
lures?
brilliant how you took this idea, you put the light in the water, you saw the
Mhm.
bait fish swimming around, and you're like, okay, I got something here. I'm going to go ahead and develop this. It's, most brilliant inventions come about that same sort of way, right?
Right.
And that's really interesting. And it just takes an innovator and someone who has the motivation to go ahead and proceed with that, which is
Yeah.
where Fish Daddy comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of times in business, it's more about motivation versus the idea, the concept, because
Right.
you can have a great idea and a great product, and if you don't have a good support system, like sales support, like what your company does, it's not going to get out in the market. People aren't going to see it.
Well, that's what we're here for. You got any
Yeah.
questions?
So does all your lures encompass this technology, or do you have lures that also do not have the LED lighting?
No, we have tungsten jigs, super small for ice fishing. And so what we do, since we're in Minnesota, and Minnesota is huge in ice fishing, we unfortunately we ice fish 6 months out of the year. So, so we always start with the smallest lure possible, and then we build up from there. So any of our lures that you see, if you have customers, business to business, if they like the lure but want extra weight, we can always make them bigger for them.
What's the common weight sizes of the jigs?
So right now, with our LED spoons, it's 1/16 ounce, 1/8 of an ounce, and 1/4 of an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
And so our tungsten jigs, which I got to see if I have some, I got one right here, are, like I said, are more designed for panfish, and they're going to be small. They're more. This one that I'm going to show you is only 1/50th of an ounce. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Yeah.
That's small.
Yeah, considering where you guys live. Yeah.
Probably tough to toss.
Oh, look at that. And what's
Wow.
that for?
That's for primarily ice fishing, crappies, and sunnies.
Do you have a personal favorite lure that you like to use, or one that you think is the one that you're like, oh, this is my magnus opum of lures that you always catch a fish every single time with it?
I would say, well, there's two of them, and that's the Dirty Bomb and the micro LED. Because
do you have one you can show us?
Yeah, I showed you some before, but my go-to for the Dirty Bomb is, I just had it here. I started with this. That's a green one. That's got a green LED.
Okay.
And it's black, so the light disperses out and not necessarily down. So if you're vertical fishing, the fish coming bottom up, they don't get hit with the eyes. But depending on the type of a bite, it doesn't matter. They depending on what species of fish you're targeting, they all have different attitudes, and it could be different attitude depends on how aggressive they are for that day too.
So why did you name it the Dirty Bomb? What created that name?
So I was kicking around different ideas, and one that kind of stuck was I called Tick Tick Boom, and I'm like, that's too long. So what's something similar that sounds cooler? And I came up with the Dirty Bomb because I really wanted a product with a cool name. So
that's a cool name.
It is. It's a catchy name. Catchy name.
And if you guys want, we can do a world premiere of a new lure.
Ooh.
You guys interested?
It's up to you. We would love to see it.
No, it's going to be available for this fall here. Just got them in. That's called the Dirty Bomb Minnow.
Oh wow!
So it's a micro blade bait.
So is it the same concept where it stays on top? And
this is the Dirty Bomb Minnow. So it's got the same technology as the water activated. And so what's cool about this is it took us a while to develop, but most blade baits are weight forward and they come nose down.
Right.
And what's different about this one is it's semi weight forward, so it's designed to pitch to the side and flutter down. On the side.
So that's good for what kind of fish?
Bait that's wounded.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to mimic a wounded bait fish.
Yeah.
And these we've had walleyes, crappies. We haven't gone down south where you guys are at, but I'd love to try some redfish or something down there.
Yeah, come to Miami anytime.
Yeah,
Doors
exactly.
open, do some pier fishing or go out on the boat.
Yeah, we'll come on down with us and we'll take you out there. We'll go out there and we'll try them all and see what we catch.
Yeah, exactly. So,
so the bigger one, what's it? The bigger one, what do you catch mostly with those? The walleye?
Walleye love most of those LED, and the reason why walleye, are you guys familiar with walleyes?
Yeah.
I've never caught one because I'm down here in the south.
Right. So walleyes, if you look at them at night and shine a light in their eyes, there's kind of like a gray film on the back. So they're more of a nighttime predator. They still eat during the day too, but primarily at night is when they feed. So walleyes, for whatever reason, they really like that LED colors. Now crappies, they either love them or hate them. So you got to toy around like with that micro LED spoon. One day it might be the LED. The next day it might be a rattle. The next day it might be a glow stick. So walleyes overall, and bass too. We've got a lot of bass as well with them. So bass fishing, you can cast them out and just rip them back.
More like a traditional type lure. Which one do the bass seem to like more?
The dirty bomb.
The dirty bomb?
Like
that's
that
just like the go-to, the big boy, the dirty bomb, right?
Yeah, I would say the quarter ounce one, where it's a little larger profile.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think it's just so cool how you were able to design that to where when it hits the water, it flashes. That's some brilliant innovation right there.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Tell us a little bit about the bottom bouncers.
Yeah. So what's cool about the bottom bouncers is that, first thing that's cool is it's made in the USA. So, and what's nice about the bottom bouncers is when the bottom bouncer's pulling through the water, the plastic piece vibrates. So you're going to get a little bit of vibration from that. And typically people use spinner blades and with long snell with a bottom bouncer. And so what's cool about it is up here we have lakes that are super clear, ultra clear, and you run like a 12-foot snell. Well, with the bouncer flare, you catch more fish with a 3 to 4 foot snell. So the problem that solves is that you don't have to walk to the front of the boat every time to net the fish, which gets annoying after a while. Every time you're trying to net a fish. Right. So the other thing is that so we have spinner blades. So if you're in deep water, here that could be 30 feet of water and it's dark, right in the middle of the day. What will happen is you're artificially creating that light, and it will capture the light off of the spinner blade and rotate, so it looks like more of a bait fish going through. So
that's super interesting.
The bottom bouncer, because that's somewhat regional to the Midwest. Bottom bouncer is basically this weight that you attach this portion to your main line, and then this wire runs off the back with a snell with usually a 10-pound. You could use fluorocarbon leader. So imagine 3 feet of fluorocarbon with either a basic hook or spinner blades or a hook that we call slow death, which another company makes, and then you can put a crawler on there. And it's extremely versatile because you can also use these with crankbaits too. So it's think of it as a small downrigger.
Yeah,
would probably be the best way to compare it to.
Well, I was thinking about that for some of the deep sea fishing. For the smaller fish, that they have out there. I would just think that you have enough weight on there and put a shrimp on it, and then bounce it around through there and see what you catch.
Yeah, when I was in Florida last year, I actually caught some fish just off the bank using the micro LED spoon. I was actually using it as a slider weight, and then put shrimp. Had like 3-foot lead with shrimp.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Had you ever put any scents on there or anything like that? Because you were saying there are 3 main aspects: the vibration, the light, and smells. Is there a product that you sell that also? I know that you're selling the rattle ones and you're selling the light ones. Do you currently have any products that contribute to the way things smell to attract fish.
So we currently don't have products like that. There's actually some Minnesota-based companies that if your customers are interested, I could point them in the right direction on that. But what we have found is if you're fishing live bait, so like our Dirty Bomb, for example, we use a minnow on the hook if we're vertical jigging or a bobber, and that's where your scent is coming in. So our tagline is kind of the light will bring them in and the bait will seal the deal. So
nice.
So that's where the scent is coming in primarily. But there's other products on the market. Scents definitely do help catch fish, especially and a lot of times if you're wearing sunscreen on your hands, it's more about covering up than the actual smell itself.
So putting a minute on there, like the Dirty Bomb, you're gonna catch a fish, right?
Yeah, you know, instead of just putting a plain hook on, now you got a hook on steroids, so to speak. So,
so you can catch a fish on steroids.
Yes.
In other words, get a bigger one.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest fish you've caught so far with the Dirty Bomb? Let's say.
With the Dirty Bomb, it was a 21-pound northern, which is about. I can send it to you. I have the photo. I actually have a video too. I released it. The guys I was with, they wanted me to mount it and everything. I just thought I can just do a fiberglass one and we'll put it back. But that's the.
Is that on your Facebook or on your website or anything?
I posted it. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, 2 years ago now. Yeah, yeah. So that was really rewarding. And actually, what's more rewarding to me is like I can sit here and catch fish, but when I get trophy pictures from customers. If you look at our social media, I'd encourage everyone to look at our social media. Just look at the amount of trophy fish that are caught on the products. It's remarkable considering we've only been in business since 2017.
Oh wow, that's fast.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, they trophy fish do seem to be very interested in that light.
So it seems to me that all these are really. It can be used in fresh water. It can be used in salt water, and they're not discriminating against the fish. They're attractants to help you catch whatever fish.
Correct.
You'll try to go after.
So so for the Dirty Bomb, up in Alaska, I have customers that use them because I don't know if you've ever fished for halibut up there.
No, never been.
So they use 2 pounds of weight, similar to like that bottom bouncer, but just 2 pounds. And then, so they'll tie the Dirty Bomb, they'll take the hook off and just use that as a leader. And then they put their squid and their herring on a huge hook.
Oh, wow.
They're in vertical jig with a 2 pound weight.
Wow.
And then
they don't even have a chance.
No.
The fish don't know what's coming. They're just okay, light, smell.
What they're doing.
So yeah, quick, everyone go to the Facebook, YouTube, go ahead and add us, like us, be able to get in contact with us. We're always here to help Fish Daddy. I mean, the product is just amazing. And your story behind it is phenomenal. But make sure you add us and like us, and we'll be getting notifications. You'll be getting notifications. Sorry, I had to put that out there. We can move on.
Well, they can actually contact us as Bspr LLC.com and just let us know you're interested, and we'll be happy to get back in touch with you, get you some quotes out there, and get you some product moving. And we're here to help. And Andy has a great product. Let's get it out there. Let's just prove what it does and how it'll sell. And it's very diversified, so it's over a lot of different type of shops. So guys, it doesn't matter if you're a single store or if you're a chain store. If you have fishing products, you need this product in there.
And just so you guys know too, right behind me, that's how our company does retail support. So that is what they call a tombstone display, a countertop display, and that little flashing LED will last 3 months.
Wow.
Before you have to change the battery. You don't even have to turn it on and off. It'll just last 3 months. And then we also have a floor standing one that's approximately 5 feet tall that our box stores really like, because anytime you can have a 5 foot tall with nice art on it with 2 flashing LEDs, it helps move some products for you.
There you go. Yeah, for those who don't have space on your gondolas for pegging it up, there you go. You got a merchandiser that can give you floor space and give you extra dollars per your square foot.
So where did you come up with the design for the merch and the logo? I'm loving it. Look at Dad's shirt. Look at your hat. I mean, it's a nice logo. I really like the logo. You can see it up here at the top right. I even modified the BSPR logo a little bit to kind of fit in with yours there. But it's a sharp logo. Is there a story behind that?
Well, the fish on there is a walleye. That's what I'm most passionate about. Next would be bass and crappies. And so I wanted a walleye on the logo. Call me hometowner or whatever you want. So I wanted that, and then the fish daddy, I wanted it to pop. So what I found over time is when I started with that green one that's at the top of the screen there, when it's on the shelf, I noticed that it doesn't pop enough. So I started moving more to black and white, and the black and white contrasting colors, as you can see back behind me there, they really pop out and stand out. So, and that came from my retailers. They told me, hey, listen, you got a great product. People come in and ask for it, but if people aren't asking for it, it wasn't standing out. So I took that feedback and changed some of the colors to make sure that the name popped out and that someone doesn't just walk right by the packaging. So that's part of selling too, is making sure the packaging is on point.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it just seems you said you've been around since what, 2017, correct?
Yeah.
And it just seems like you're very interested in learning and molding and trying to innovate and taking advice, and that's really, really, really crucial. And in business in general, which is impressive to see, not only you developing this really, really cool product, but also that you're taking advice from your customers, people you work with, to help innovate to make it better. And that just says a lot about your company in general.
Oh, I appreciate that. And one thing about when you're starting a business is that you get the opportunity to get in front of thousands and thousands of, I get in front of approximately 50,000 people every year, face to face. And what you'll hear is the same thing over and over and over again, if there's any complaints or anything positive. So making sure that staying in touch with the customers is key.
So what is your distribution right now, Andy, as far as who do you have your product in, where maybe the listeners, if they want to go buy one, they can go out and get one. If you can just kind of tell us where you're at right now. And we know that bsprllc.com, we will take you a little bit further beyond that. But right now, people probably are wanting to buy one. Where can they get it?
Yeah, so the best way, as far as we take orders all the way up into Canada. Canada's actually a very loyal customers for us on our website. If you're just going business to customer, which is fishdaddy.outdoors.com. But if you want to go business to business, contact you guys right here.
There you go. Are you in any retail outlets right now?
Oh, yeah. We're in L&M Fleet, which is a fleet supply store. They have 10 stores in the Midwest. We're in Runnings. They have approximately 40 stores throughout the Midwest, all the way to the East Coast. And then I work through just a few different distributors in the Midwest here that supply a lot of small bait shops. And a lot of, if you ask your bait shop owners, they're contacting the distributor, and then we'll get the products to them.
Nice.
So what was you said you hear a lot of the same complaints and a lot of the same constructive criticism. What do you think was the most interesting complaint that you were able to take and move forward with it, and your favorite, let's say, constructive feedback that was very positive?
Yeah, so when I first launched that Dirty Bomb, it's cool technology and everything, but it was unreliable because the two wires on the back, what was happening is, if the epoxy and the wires are supposed to stick out, what was happening is they're clipping the wires too low, and then you wouldn't get the light wouldn't turn on when it dropped in the water, which is the whole benefit, right? So trying to troubleshoot that issue, we found a solution for it. Making sure you have the right type of wire is very important. Making sure it doesn't corrode. That's part of the problem, and making sure that they're trimmed at the proper lengths. It's all details that when you're launching a product that you wouldn't think matters that much, but it's a huge difference. Yeah. So that was one of the biggest challenges, and I'm happy to say that we've overcome that, and it's and we get nothing but positive feedback from it now.
Nice.
How many different dirty bombs did you go through before you found like Dirty Bomb 3.0?
I would say that was, if I were to put an actual lure number on it, it would be about 10,000 units. Yeah, because you figure
that's substantial.
Well, yeah, but you figure every year you're going through the process, and then now we're on Dirty Bomb 3.0, and if I were to turn it this way, we have 45 products in the lineup. So went from when I first started the company, went from three different Dirty Bombs, and now there's 45 SKUs just in the Dirty Bomb. Then right now we have 18 SKUs in the micro LED spoon.
Wow.
And that's in 5 years. That's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is very, very impressive.
Appreciate that.
So a lot of long days, a lot of long nights, banging your head up against the wall.
Yeah. Yes. And you can't, it's because it's not just me, it's a team of people working together. So like I said before, if someone comes up with a good idea, I'm going to run with it and try to solve a problem. So, so there's been not just me working on this, it's a group of people, and then, making sure you execute it appropriately too.
Sure. So what do you have on the horizon? You have some thoughts and some potential new technology coming out in the near future?
Well, you solidly won with the Dirty Bomb Minnow.
Right.
And we also have another product that we're going to make, and I'm not going to show it yet because I just have a prototype and it doesn't look correct. But it's going to be available in the fall, and it's going to be think of almost like a headlamp that you can add on to your fishing net for open water.
Oh, nice.
Turn on a button and the light is not on. And the moment you grab, it senses the vibration and it turns on. So when you're night fishing, some of the times that I've lost fish is trying to grab the net, locate the net, right? And then once you grab it, you're making sure you can actually see the fish. So if you don't have a light on, you bump the fish off the net. And all that effort at fishing at night is wasted. So I'm hoping to solve that problem for anglers. It's waterproof. The battery is going to be rechargeable.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to sit there and replace batteries. And I think it's going to be a great addition.
So how'd you come up with that one?
So this
knock a lot of fish off?
No, well there was it has more to do with when you're a startup company trying to compete with the big companies, and you can imagine whatever big brand you're thinking of, you can't come into the market with similar products to other people. So what I try to do is think of products that aren't there. So it's what I call a blank market. Mm-hmm. And then I try to fill that blank market. And then, so that's kind of where I came up with that. Thinking of something no one's doing.
And that's very difficult. When you're looking at products like lures, right? Everyone thinks, everyone's done everything with lures, right?
Right.
It's been around for a long time. There's no new technology, no innovation. Nothing more can be done with lures. Au contraire. Look at what I have here, right?
Yep, that's the whole goal. Yep, is to get people to rethink what is possible. Taking your idea earlier, Ryan, and run it with it. See if you can actually bring something like that to market. But saying it and doing it are two different things, and there's some costs that get involved there too. So
sure.
And trying to
it's cost. You have to have know-how on how to engineer certain things. Kind of like a very imaginative, creative side to you. And you also have to have connections to be able to take those and send them somewhere to see if they can produce them economically, or if they're going to be profitable, right? So there's a whole mountain of things to consider when developing things like that.
Yeah, you know, in manufacturing, the manufacturer sets the price, and it's typically based off the cost of the product that it costs to make and then ship. And so going to the profitability aspect, so you can have the right product that solves a problem, and it's just too expensive for the consumer, and it's not going to sell. And I've gone through that before too, where I innovate a cool product and then it's just too expensive. So making sure that you can shave off costs in the right areas. For example, that first bottom bouncer, that plastic housing that I had, that was my first product I developed. That cost me about 900% more than the plastic piece that's on my new products, and that's just finding the right suppliers that can deliver quality products at affordable pricing.
And molds are expensive. I don't think people understand how expensive plastic molds are.
Yep.
I used to work with a company, and I used to have to go to China and inspect the molding to make sure that they had all of our molds that we were using, just because those molds are extremely, extremely pricey.
Yes, and it's you got to weigh the cost analysis too, where you break even and all that stuff. So making sure, so that's a good place where if you get a little more savvy in business, you can learn how to shave off costs. So you're not ruining quality. That's just a good example. You're not ruining quality. You're just creating a more affordable product for the consumer.
Well, I mean, even like you look at the LED diodes, right? If you would have been producing this 20 years ago, there would have been no way, because those diodes would have been way, way costlier than they are now.
Yeah, for sure. And now they're becoming more and more commonplace, like even in Christmas lights.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like LEDs are pretty much everywhere. They're the headlights and vehicles, and they need a completely different system. So people don't even know anymore. Oh, do I have to get LED lights? Do I have to get the halogen lights? Did you try anything else besides LEDs?
No, I knew that's the direction I wanted to go. The main reason is you saw a little bit when let's say 2016, you saw some companies using LEDs in different lures for saltwater, but you didn't see them in freshwater.
Right.
But the other thing was there was two issues, or two challenges I had to overcome with the LEDs, and that was, one, make a product that doesn't look cheesy, right, and cheap.
Which is hard with LEDs, a lot harder.
It is.
It is.
And then two, the proof of concept. And so, for example, my first trade show, I only sold direct to consumer. I only sold about $900 for a whole weekend, which is not much money considering the energy. And I had people laughing at me at the concept, because freshwater anglers just don't do that. In particular, ice fishermen don't do that.
Right.
And then now the same trade show this last year, I did over $20,000 in the one weekend.
Yeah, the guys who used to laugh at you are now buying your lures.
They are. Yeah.
It's funny that not just fishermen, but even professional fishermen are always looking for an edge out there. Yeah. And sometimes they overlook products that can actually give them that edge. And when they find out, they're usually the ones who are willing to step out and try it are the ones who usually are in first place in the fishing tournament.
Oh yeah. Going back to your professional fisherman comment, I've had some professional anglers who use my product. Incognito would be the best word, because they're already sponsored by another company, and I'm just happy to service them. And if they want to be my customer, I'm not going to turn them away. But going to that, they're so more open to trying new things that are out there than just the average Joe, I would say.
Yeah, they want that competitive advantage is what they're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do we have any endorsements from professional fishermen coming up?
I have endorsements with different anglers. Our strategy was targeting people with more influencers versus professional anglers. So one of our good partners who are popular in this area is a Facebook group called Grim Outdoors. We have about 60,000 followers, and they all do fish pike. So are you kind of seeing how I caught the large fish? Was they were kind enough to show me the ways of pike angling, and one of them, they are becoming professional angler. I'll just leave it at that, but they're on the right track. So
have you tried pike fishing yet?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. With them, that's where I caught that trophy. Is I went with them on a lake up in northern Minnesota, and they showed me the ways. So
yeah, it looks difficult. What about salmon? Have you gone that way yet?
Yeah, so I've done quite a bit of salmon fishing, not because I'm an expert salmon angler. I just happen to have a friend who's really into salmon angling, and he has his own guide service called Blue Line Guide Service out of in Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, they stock the lakes with salmon, the Great Lakes with salmon, so Lake Michigan. And so it's a freshwater fishery with salmon in it, and it's
nice.
a blast. And
so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And so, yeah, he's tried some of my products, and he's used them primarily for like leader in front of his teasers and his. So he'll put them in front to get their attention.
Right.
And the first one that you showed, that was a fly lure, correct?
No, we don't have any fly lures, but you can definitely put them in front of flies. Yeah.
Do you think that's something that you're going to be doing in the future with fly lures? I'm sure that it would still attract the fish, right? Because it's something that, or do you think the vibration would do better?
It's something I thought of, but the products that I have come up with, I'm not even happy with how it looks, because the fly anglers are so hyper detail oriented, and you really have to make sure if you provide a product to them that it's up to their level of their standards. And right now, the ones I've created, I've been trying for about 2 or 3 years. It's not there yet, but I'll get there.
I'm sure.
Fly fishing
I'll
is
get there.
all about weight and control of where you put the bait at.
Yeah.
Especially when it's trout fishing in the stream and everything. I used to do that with my father a little bit, and I was never very good at it.
Yeah. And it's a whole different deal. That's why every species of fish you have to. Yeah. I don't want to just launch a product to launch a product. I want to put thought into it, and I want the angler to have a good experience with the product. And right now, the flies, it's not there. I've tried it with a couple different tubes and stuff like that. It's just it's not there yet. We'll get there.
I'm sure you will. I mean, with your ability to innovate and your persistence and your unrelenting motivation, I'm sure that you'll come up with something. But you always see in those movies, like, the fly fishermen will sit there and they'll make their own lures, and they're very like detailed about it, like wrapping things.
They're very educated. They know exactly what they want and how to make it themselves if they can't get what they want. So,
and mass producing something like that has to be difficult, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, yes. And I don't want to launch a product that's not going to go over well with any group of anglers.
Oh, you just seem like that kind of person that you're not. That's why you're on Dirty Bomb 3.0. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Everything we do, I want to do it well, and it bothers my partners because I'm constantly changing. So my business does a marketing principle called total quality management. Some people call it Six Sigma. Other names have been addressed to it, but essentially what it is as a manufacturer, you find your own flaws in your products and you fix them. And you do that every production run. And so some of the flaws I found in some of my products, no one complained about. I just fixed them. Because if it drives me nuts, there's probably one person out there that's not going well for them either. So I try to fix them.
What's one that you found that you were surprised that you found? You look back and you're like, oh, I can't believe I noticed that, and I'm glad that I fixed it before the next production run.
Well, this goes back to that Dirty Bomb. One of the weird issues was the type of battery. So, like in the Dirty Bomb, the battery's behind this eye, so you can't. No one can really see it, right? You are purposely disguising. We're taking something ugly, making it look beautiful. Each eye is color coordinated with the color of light. So looking at the front of it, that
what color LED it's going to be.
Yeah. So that was one issue where no one complained about having a box full of dirty bombs, a tackle box full of dirty bombs, and not knowing what LED without testing them. But it drove me nuts.
Yeah, no, that's great because you're like, how do I know which color this is?
How do I know? Yeah. And so now going under this new product, you can see we double color coordinated with the eyes. You got red, and then the one up front is red as well.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I see that.
Look at the detail on that. That's quite spectacular, the detail that goes into that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I mean, it is very lifelike looking. It looks like a fish's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that the sticker itself is called a real scan eye. And talking about fly fishermen, real scan eyes have been used by fly fishermen for a long time. And I saw that fly. That's where I was doing research on the fly fishermen and anglers. I came across those real scan eyes, kept coming across them, and I got to put that on my lure.
What is a real scan eye?
It's an actual image of a fish eye.
Yeah.
So it's not a perfect circle. So if you look at this, you look at the pupil.
Yeah, it's a little bit oblong there.
Yeah.
Towards your finger, right?
Yeah. So a normal fish pupil is not going to be perfectly circle.
Right.
Well, even the coloring in there, it's almost opalish. The way that the color play and everything. It's a beautiful lure, right? And how long did it take you to go in to be able to develop that just great of a look? It's not only functional, it also looks really nice.
So Dirty Bomb 1.0 had all circular pupils, all the same sticker. Dirty Bomb 2.0, which was my second year, had those. So it was after my first year I realized I wanted it to look better. And so it's been that way now for 3 years. So
nice.
No, it looks great. You did an excellent job on those.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I think our stream event is coming to an end, and I wanted to thank Andy. Andy, it's really been a pleasure talking to you. You are an admirable person, and it's very motivating just to listen to what you came from and bringing out that product and just constantly innovating, looking for new ideas. It's very, very motivational. And look at the product. I mean, you can see everything that you put into your company come together in this amazing product that you've put together.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I do want to encourage the people on here to leave a comment if you have a question. I'll answer every single comment that's on here.
Yeah. And I also want to bring up the fact that I'm going to be at ICAST, and I'll be wearing your shirt and your hat at ICAST on one of the days.
All right.
And so everybody that's listening here right now, if you want to know more, just catch me at the ICAST show. I might even be able to have a sample one to sit there and show them. So let's catch me. Let's talk about this.
I made the decision. I'm going to come down and talk to you guys down there.
There you go. Come on.
We look forward to it. I mean, you are really an inspiring person.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Look forward to working with you, Andy.
Yes, likewise.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming and watching us today. It's been we got to meet the fish daddy himself, Mr. Andy Claiborne here. All right, you guys have a great day.
Y'all have a good one. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.